Okay, guys, so a couple days ago, or a couple weeks ago at least, Stranger Things Season 2 was released on Netflix and the internet exploded pretty much. Everyone binge watched this and finished it the same day. Some people finished it really quickly, and some people took a little bit longer. I waited about 2 weeks, um, or about 2 weeks. I paced myself throughout the season, and I finished watching the entire season now. And now I'm here to give you guys a pretty quick spoiler filled review. So, first of all, let me just say that the thing that really carries this season and the first season is the cast and the dynamic between the main group of kids. Dustin, Mike, Eleven, Will, Lucas. Their dynamic, their friendship carries the entire season. You love their friendship. You love each of these characters individually. So when you see them all together, it's a really great feeling, and you can follow these characters throughout anything that happens in their life in this season. Um, this season is a little bit slower than the first season. It takes a while to pick up, and for a good reason. Once you see how it pays off in the final 2 to 3 episodes, you realize, okay, I see why they paced themselves that way in the beginning of the season. It makes sense now. And in the beginning of the season, you kind of just see more of the kids doing their day-to-day activities, which is something great, something that I really loved. I love seeing the kids doing stuff that they do on a normal day. It really expanded the characters without really doing anything big. If that makes sense. So I love that, and of course the cast of the high school students: Nancy, Jonathan, Steve, and even the new guy Billy was pretty cool. I like them. I like them in pretty much all their roles. I love what they did. I love the whole Steve angle. I know in all the reviews for season two, he's the highlight. People are saying, "Oh, he took he could have been such a cliche character, bully character in the first season, and he wasn't in the first season. And this season, he had such a huge different arc that it kind of just changed everything and flipped that cliche on its head, and I love that. And Joe Carey, I believe is his name, did a really good job portraying this character. Everyone, really, the cast overall was pretty good with who they were playing with. Everyone, of course, standouts are Millie Bobby Brown as Eleven, Finn Wolfhard as Mike, and this one doesn't get talked about enough. But Noah Schnapp as Will is a huge, huge surprise to me. In the first season, we didn't really get much of his acting range or abilities because he kind of really wasn't there. But in this season, where he is really there and he really is the focus of the season, he portrays his character so well, especially with all the things that he has to do and act this certain way because the monsters in him and the way he has to respond and act, and he had such a dynamic range that I really enjoyed. I really did not think this kid was capable of acting like this on so many different levels, and I loved what he did, and he quickly became a standout for me very early in the season. And of course, we have uh, David Harbour as Chief Hopper, who did another amazing job, and Winona Ryder as Joyce. So of course, just you expected great things out of them. But there are. Let me touch on some negatives of the season. The season overall, like I said before, was a really great, fun season. It was a good follow up to the first one. Some negatives were to me was I felt that Nancy was a little bit useless in the season. So was Jonathan until the very end. Jonathan helped a lot when it came to finally, helping in the last 2 episodes where they're really taking out the monster from Will. I believe Jonathan kind of served the purpose finally because in the first the first what is it, like 5 episodes with Nancy and Jonathan where they go off on their own little adventure. It was just so it was so off on a tangent that they really didn't affect the story, and it felt like the writers had no idea what to do with these characters. They know that they didn't really fit in this main story, so like, okay, let's just put them off and have them go do this thing. And I know what they did was important to the context of the story in this world, but it just felt like they were kind of pushed to the side after being pretty big, big key characters in the first season. And then someone else is Sadie Sink as Max. I like the idea of Max, and I love the character herself. The character I think was really needed, and it added a new dimension to the group. I really like that, but she was kind of just forced into the show just to be something that creates drama in the group. Really, because you look at the entire season, her role in the entire season, she literally did nothing important, nothing except cause tension between the group. That's it. That's all she did. And if she wasn't there, her nothing would have. If you would have replaced or just took her out of the story completely, the story would have pretty much stayed the same at the end. Really, would have really been the same. Um, I'm trying to think of other things, other negatives. Of course, episode 7, The Lost Sister, was a completely unnecessary backdoor pilot. As soon as I saw this episode, I was like, whoa, what's going on? Well, as soon as 11 goes into the city, and I'm like, okay, this is off already. This is not what it's meant to be. This is not what the core thing about Stranger Things is about. And then the whole episode just threw me off, and nothing against any of the performances in this episode. I liked what they were trying to do. I just don't feel that they hit the mark. And then I just don't think that fits with the Stranger Things universe. I just don't think they really need to be here, honestly. And then the main actress who played Kiara, I forgot her name, but 8, she kind of annoyed me at times, really. I don't know. I felt this angle of the story was really unnecessary. And this is gonna surprise some people, but I did not like how 11 was used in this season, except the final 2 episodes. I liked the whole angle that she had with Hopper. That was a really interesting and fresh angle, especially with Hopper's backstory with Sarah. But having her really from this really badass character in the first season to just kind of become a background character really in the season. She does nothing until the final 2 episodes. And you're gonna tell me she didn't really feel the presence of the monster coming in or, getting into Will when she felt so much stuff very similar to this in the first season. I just didn't like the way she was kind of pushed to the back. And I know I'm probably gonna get some hate against that. Nothing against Millie Bobby Brown. She did an amazing job with what she was given in the final 2 episodes. She really shined out and really was that 11 from the last season. And all the scenes with her and Hopper I really enjoyed. But I just felt that they missed the mark with 11 in the story, that they really didn't know what to do with her. Um, but like I said, this season was really tight overall. It was a really good season. I feared that they were just going to go overblown sequel, big monster attacking the entire city. They got to save the city. I mean, they did, but it wasn't what I expected. It was still on a. Bigger. It was a bigger consequence, but it was on a small scale, which I really enjoyed. Um, a lot of things happened in the season towards the end that I didn't like the very last. I love how it ended off with them at the dance. I'll call it. I don't know if it was like the winter dance. I'll call it. And I love how they all kind of went off with their own. They pretty much got in a couple, and then we have Chief Hopper and Joyce outside smoking like they did in high school. A little cool callback. But I feel that this is suffering from the Marvel syndrome. And what I mean by that is basically they're never going to give us a complete ending because there's money to be made in another one, in another season. I think it would have been perfect just to leave it off like that. That, hey, they're on the dance, it ends. Have this story of the season completely wrap up and kind of, I guess, leave it for a post-credit scene or something in the show, which you can do a post-credit scene in TV. Other TV shows have done it before. of the the monster of the upside down, pretty much the turn of the camera on the upside down, and that would have been cool. But the fact that they did it immediately after this kind of just said, "Hey, there's another one. Come back." It just felt really cheap and really lazy. Like the fact that they couldn't just wrap up this one story and just say, "Okay, we'll continue in season 3 with another one." We know there's gonna be another one. You don't need to really be so blatant about it. And I love the callbacks to, of course, the '80s culture, the '80s pop culture. I love that. Everyone loves that. And um, the new character of Bob, he was an interesting character. I liked his angle, and I felt his sacrifice was really cool and really interesting. And it was cool to see someone die. But like I said before, in my preview to season 2, I'm scared that they're not going to kill anyone off. It's going to become a Marvel movie, and then they're going to be afraid to kill off characters and show real consequences in this movie. Excuse me, in this TV show, to show real stakes, you got to kill one of the main cast members. You got to just show that you're not scared and won't hold back. And I love the callbacks to Empire Strikes Back, especially the way with 11 when she says, I can't leave them. They're my friends. I have to go help them. Exactly like Luke, very parallel. Pretty much, she parallels Luke in The Empire Strikes Back when he's training with Yoda. And I love that because it kind of does coincide with you kind of do coincide with each other. Like I said, overall, pretty good season. I'm happy with the way the season progressed and how it ended. I did feel the ending was a little bit cheap and a little bit kind of just a setup. That setup episode of episode 7 was just a complete waste. I hope we don't get any of those. I hope we don't get a spin-off. And the acting, again, was really good on everyone's part. And the cast between the characters, the cast between the characters, I can't even speak. The chemistry between the characters just grew, and I love every single performance in this show. It's no bad performance. Some characters are a little bit useless, some characters were kind of MacGuffins, and some characters got really fleshed out really well and portrayed really well by some really talented young actors who I'm excited to see where their career goes. Really, I'm really excited to see where the career goes. So I'm gonna give Stranger Things season 2 a 8 out of 10. So now let me ask you guys: have you guys seen Stranger Things season 2? What did you think? What did you guys like? What did you guys like about it? What did you guys not like about it? Is it better than season 1? Comment below, guys, and let's start a discussion. As always, thank you guys for watching, and may the force be with you always.